All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am James Oliver Jr. Who am I? What am I doing? I'm doing all the things. I mean, not the co-founder, founder and CEO of the Parentpreneur Foundation. But that's not what we're doing here today. Well, kind of, sort of, because it's all kind of connected. Like when you're in alignment and intentional and on purpose, the things you do just kind of overlap, right, Daryl?
Exactly.
So, yeah, so I run the Parentpreneur Foundation, but I'm also co-founder and CEO of Kabila. Rock my Kabila swag. Kabila is an inclusive co-founder matching app and global community for tech startup founders. And we just finished TechStars Austin. Super excited about that. So where are we with that? We have a global community. As I mentioned, we have a couple hundred founders in there. So check us out. Go to joinkabila.com. Also, we are working on our app prototype, our co-founder matching app prototype, which will be it's in development now. Our prototype will be ready in a couple of weeks. So if you want looking for a co-founder, just hop on over there and get on our wait list. Again, that's joinkabila.com. All right, enough about that. All right, it's not why we're here today. Today, we are here. I got my man, Fitty Graham, Daryl Frater in the building from Visible Hand VC, and we are here today to talk about boom, the BKXL BIPOC Accelerator with up to 500K investment for BIPOC founders. What's good, Daryl? How are you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm so delighted you can make it. I know you're crazy busy. Have applications opened up for the accelerator yet?
So applications are opening up on Monday. So we're almost there.
Yeah. So I imagine it's like really busy getting ready for that. So I'm super excited to be like at the front end of the craziness that's about to start. So,
Oh yeah.
last year when you guys had your first cohort for Visible Hands VC, I had Yasmin on here to help amplify the work you're doing. So anytime I see anything cool that y'all are doing, like I'm game to amplify and help you get the word out and get y'all some folks in here. So anybody watching, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. We will do our best to get to all of them. Good morning, Lisa Parker. I have a few questions for you, my friend. But let's start out. I wrote them down because if I don't write them down, I just don't remember them. Can you please tell everybody what Visible Hands is and why y'all exist?
Yeah, Jason, I'm the same way. If I don't write it down, I forget as well. So I feel you on
Let's
that.
let's go.
So I'll do a brief introduction of myself, talk about Visible Hands, and answer your questions as well. So I'm Daryl. I'm an investor at Visible Hands VC. We're a pre-seed venture capital firm investing in diverse founders. So we invest in women and founders of color at the pre-seed stage through our various accelerator programs. So really excited about the work that we're doing, and we live to serve founders. And we're excited about just being able to help the ecosystem in a way that other firms that aren't focused on this demographic of founders are not doing. So we're excited about the work that we do.
And listen, I am super excited about the work that y'all are doing too, because, I had a call yesterday with. Do you know Gary Stewart? He's the new MD for the TechStars JP Morgan Accelerator in New York City.
Yep.
I had a call with him yesterday. He was just sharing some tips for three things he thought underrepresented founders should be doing to raise capital in this environment. And I kind of said, sort of jokingly, but not really, that when VC catches a cold, underrepresented founders get COVID. We don't get pneumonia. No, no, we get COVID, right? The new one with all the crazy variants, we get that. That's what we get, right? This is your first time talking to me, Daryl, so you had no idea what to expect. I see,
No, this is great. I saw the interview with Yasmin, so I'm all prepared.
right? Oh my God! All right, so let's talk about what the BK Accelerator is. Like, what is it? You sort of answered why y'all started it, but let's dive in. Like, what is it? Who are the partners of the program? Let's tell the people what all that's about.
Yeah, so the BKXL Accelerator, it's a new program we're launching in partnership with Clara Wu Sai, who is the owner of the Social Justice Fund. She's also one of the owners of the Brooklyn Nets and the Barclays Center. They have been very supportive of Visible Hands and support us with our fund as limited partners. And we're excited about being able to work with Clara and her team to launch the BKXL Accelerator. It is a program specifically designed for BIPOC founders. will be investing up to 500K into 12 founders for a 10-week accelerator program located in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, I love that. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Brooklyn, B. I grew
Awesome,
up
awesome.
I grew up in Flatbush. And oh, by the way, I went to high school right down there by Barclays, and I went to Brooklyn Tech.
Nice, nice. So you know the area. We got to definitely have you around.
A little bit. I don't get back that often. Been gone for a while, back and forth. But yeah, when I come up that way, are you working in New York?
So I live in New Jersey, but over the next few weeks, I will be in New York a lot, just networking, getting the word out, and meeting
Yeah,
cool founders.
100%. So next time I come up to New York, I'll have to ping you and to meet you in at the place. I'd love to come and get a tour. And actually, I go to New Jersey because my family's in Jersey. All right, so we got a couple of questions here. I want to try to get to some of these questions. I have questions for you, but I want to get to some of these questions as well. So, all right, Ola Yinka said, excited about this. When will the application be launched? I think you just said Monday, right?
Yeah, so applications for this program launch this Monday, December 5th. So super excited. You can go on the website bk-xl.com and you can sign up on our
Yes,
website and you'll be able to be notified first when applications go live. So sign up there and
yes,
you'll be in contact and receive additional information on the program as well. So yeah.
yes, yes. So the banner's up right there with the website. So I have a couple more questions for you. This is super informative. All right. So one of the questions I have is, well, I was going to ask you who runs the social justice fund, but I think is that the founders of the Nets, the owners of the Nets?
Yeah. So Clara Wusai and her team, they run the social justice fund, and we work very closely with them at Visible Hands. And just excited about the work that they've done in the ecosystem to really be a supporter of diverse founders and changing the opportunities of wealth in this country just through their impact of
Yes.
various programs and initiatives.
So good, man. I just love that so much. So let's talk about some of the details of the program, and then I'll get to some of these questions that are popping in here. First of all, like it's just me doing all this stuff. Normally, I have a producer pressing all the buttons, getting all the banners up, and all that stuff. But today I'm just kind of ham and egging it. So I apologize in advance if stuff's flying or left and right. And you're like, what the hell? That's just me just trying to keep it all moving and pay attention to Daryl when he's talking, which is hard for me to do because I have horrible ADHD. So I apologize in advance for that. Um, so I noticed that you intentionally say up to $500,000 investment in the 12 startups, right?
Correct.
And the 12 BIPOC founders. Can you explain what that means when you say up to $500,000, please?
Yeah, so with this accelerator program, the investments we've done in two checks. The initial check will be a 125K investment, and then the follow-on investment is 375K. And in regards to the program, essentially all 12 will be qualified or be able to get that access to that second check. We just want to make sure that the founders that get selected have real strong desire to be located in Brooklyn. So the second check has we want the founders to be in Brooklyn for an additional year,
Oh,
working and
wow.
building their company. So it's really an initiative to continue to build a strong ecosystem that Brooklyn has in regards to tech and innovation. So we really want founders to go there for the 10 weeks in our accelerator and they'll get the 125K. But then for that second check, if you want to remain in Brooklyn, we're really excited to work with you to get the additional 375K.
So come for the buck and a quarter, but stay for the 375 racks.
For the half a million, man.
That's it. I love that, and I'm glad we clarified that because like initially when I looked at it again, I got really bad ADHD, so I probably read the first thing was under something else. It was I saw you got to be in Brooklyn for the program, but it's not just you got to so you could come to Brooklyn and get 125,000, but if you like peace out, I got to go back home, I got to take care of my kids, you don't get the 375,000.
That's accurate.
But I'm guessing y'all are going to be screening for that, and you're going to only bring people in because your objective is to get people who want to build the ecosystem. If you're coming into your interview, you're like, yeah, I'm coming for the buck and a quarter, but I'm out after that. Y'all gonna be like, yeah, like good luck with that, right? I'm guessing.
So, as a venture capital fund, we're looking to back great founders, and it's not a requirement to accept the additional capital and stay, but
Okay.
it's something that is a bonus because we want to be partners with these founders. We want to invest more capital into their businesses, be more active in their companies, and be
Yes.
a partner for the long term. So I would hope that you would want to work with us and accept more capital for us to continue to help you do the great work that you're doing.
And not for nothing, as a underrepresented BIPOC founder myself, who just completed an accelerator and who is fundraising right now. Yo, it's hard out in these fundraising streets, fam.
Yeah, man. We know the struggle, and that's why we exist as a firm. And now, for me, myself, I joined Visible Hands on the back of being a founder myself, and I completely understood the struggle as well. Won a lot of pitch competitions, um, pitched so many VCs, investors, angels, but as someone outside of the network, it was just so difficult for me to be able to land investors. I also was a solo founder at the time, and it was just really, really challenging. So I know the struggles that founders go through, and me being on the other side now have tremendous empathy for founders going through this journey, and I do everything in my power to help founders that we back, also founders that are just in the ecosystem. I want to see everybody win. I'm really bullish on the concept of entrepreneurship and what it does for the ecosystem, and
Yes.
whatever I could do to help anyone. I always leave open DMs, open email, and be responsive as possible.
Yeah, no, that's a whole fact because that's how I connected with you, right? On Twitter. I
Yeah,
hit you
man.
up, I tweeted you, and then I think I shot you a DM or vice versa, and it was game on, right? So, and you're super responsive. I know you're mad busy, but you are responsive, and I respect and appreciate you for that because, again, I know how busy you are, and it's about to get busy nuts for you in a minute. So let's talk about something here for a second because, as I mentioned, I too am raising capital. So, by the way, this is live streaming not just on LinkedIn, but also on Kabila's Facebook page and on Twitter. So those will be places people can watch and reshare as well. I'll be resharing and tagging you in those places as well. So for early stage investors, right? So what I'm discovering, you tell me what you think about these two things. I'm discovering that this year's pre-seed investor or early stage investor is last year's seed investor.
You know, it really depends on how you view it. So we see trends where, when things get a little bit harder, investors look for more traction. They look for more security, less risk on their end. So you would see them go in a little downstream or expecting more from the pre-seed founders or the seed founders. So it's true in a sense, but it really depends on how you look at it and depends on who you're talking to. For us at Visible Hands,
Right.
we raised our fund, earlier this year, and we're deploying, pretty much business as usual with new partnerships, as you see with the Psy family. So it really depends on who you're talking to. We invest at early stage, idea stage, pre-product, pre-revenue, early traction.
Oh, that makes you all a unicorn these
Well,
days.
we are unique, and I love the work that we're doing at Visible Hands. There are also other great investors that invest very early, and when they have conviction and founders that are great, they support and go all in. But I would say that we're dime a dozen, and I'm just excited that we really care about backing founders at the very early stage before anyone else believes in them.
Yeah. So you said you guys are a dime a dozen. I beg to differ. You're not a dime a dozen. There's not a lot of people out there thinking like that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just me talking about my experience. Because I only talk about what I know, right? Um, as a founder raising capital right now, at this stage of the game is supposed to be what you hear is, we're betting on the jockey, not the horse, right? So that's what I heard you say y'all are doing, which is that's fantastic. That's really good. But a lot of conversations I've been having with people is, they're like they have a flashlight all down my horse's throat, complaining because the horse has a sore throat, maybe has like a little bad tooth back there or something. And I'm like, hey, 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 like I'm this super dope jockey. I'm a 3-time founder. And they're like, yeah, yeah, stand aside, youngin. Let me get back in that horse's throat with my flashlight. So you guys are unique in that regard and to be applauded. And we appreciate you. Let me get a couple of these questions. So this is a question. I'm not sure if this is applicable, but I wanted to put it up anyway. What startup areas qualify for the social justice component? There's no social justice component. It's just that you partnered with the social justice organization, right?
Exactly. So we are partnered with the Social Justice Fund, but in regards to the accelerator program, we're backing venture backable startups that are scalable, that can potentially have a meaningful exit, and can impact the lives of many people. So there's a lot of alignment in regards to social justice and innovation. So we're just really looking for founders that understand how to have impact, but at the same time know how to build a business around their impact.
Okay, perfect. So who are some of the other partner organizations? Because I was looking at the website, I noticed you have a network of partners and some other VCs that founders would be able to get support from. Like, who are some of those folks?
Yeah, so in regards to the program, there are many listed on the website and some that aren't as well. But it's also in partnership with the Brooklyn Nets, the Barclays Center, Blue Pool Capital, BSE Global, and many other venture capital funds, many other partners within the Brooklyn and New York City ecosystem. And we're excited about working with all the stakeholders within this program, because us alone as Visible Hands won't be able to completely satisfy the needs of all the founders. It takes a village to come together to build an ecosystem, and really, really supportive of our partners and excited about the work that collectively we can all do together to help founders of color, and other underrepresented founders.
Love that. So do you need a co-founder to apply and get in? Like, what's your preference there?
Yeah, so you do not need a co-founder to apply and get in. I would say having a team that has the full capability to design, iterate, and build on their product over a sustained period of time really makes you a very attractive team to work with. Having someone on the business side that can really sell the product and talk to customers, and someone on the technical side that can build the product and really allow you to iterate and improve. If you do not have the full, team stack per se to build your company and execute it and go to market, it makes it difficult to being able to succeed at early stage founders. So we're
Yeah,
more so looking for your ability for your company to execute, and
yeah.
whether you have all the skill sets within yourself, that's beautiful. But most people, have particular skill sets and need people to complement them.
So let's keep it a buck though about what that means in terms of a team. So let's say like myself, I'm a non-technical founder, uh, building a tech product. I need somebody who can code. Okay, so if I don't have a co-founder that's on the team, but if I have a developer on my team, that meets the criteria, right?
Yeah, as long as you can sustainably and reliably build at a high level over a long period of time. So in my situation, when I was a full time founder, I hired an outsourced development team, put everything I had into paying them over 60K of my own capital that I didn't have, put a lot of it on credit cards. And I was able to build the first version of my app, and I got tremendous amount of traction on my app. I had over 3,000 DJs that were on the platform. But when it came time for additional iterations and improvements to the platform, fixing bugs, I didn't have any capital to keep paying my development team, and they don't move unless you pay them. The benefit of having a technical co-founder is you all can be properly incentivized to continue building when there's no capital per se to get you to those next milestones. So that's the competitive advantage of having a technical co-founder on your team. So you don't have to rely on paying someone for every iteration of your product.
Bro, I got agitated when you told that story about spending your 60K. So I went to my first accelerator in 2013, Generator in Northeast Wisconsin. I think we were like their second cohort. A non-technical founder. I cleaned out the last $35,000 of my savings, right? And we got into the accelerator program and completely blew up all that code that I spent there. But so my question is, let's say somebody has an agency they're working with right now to do their coding. They get the $125,000 with the understanding, and it's a commitment that, hey, we're going to stay in Brooklyn after the fact, with the understanding that they need to hire a technical team member. Would that be viewed favorably by you all, or at the end of the day, it puts them at a different disadvantage? Because look, let's be honest, you guys are going to have hundreds, if not 1,000 applications for this program. 500K from an accelerator right now. That's top of the food chain, right? I think only Y Combinator is doing that right now, right? So you're going to have a lot of people applying, listening to this right now, who will already have a technical member on their team coming in, which I think, just listening to you talk, gives them a competitive advantage. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Having that technical team, like I said, gives you the ability to more so build reliably, and not, having to shell out money every single time you want to continue to build your product. Additionally, in regards to us, backing founders that may not have that, co-founder, and are using a dev shop or some type of outsourced developers, that's not necessarily something we won't back. It just, the conversation is a little bit different, and we have to just trust that the founder has thought through all the potential risk and have clearly created a pathway for them to succeed regardless of any obstacles that they currently have. So it's us betting on the founder's ability to execute and have a vision for their execution and following through with it.
Listen, you're very politically correct and very tactful. I'm just going to tell y'all, listen to this. If you want to get into this program, get somebody on your team who can code. Like, period, full stop. You have to have a competitive application. And if you're going up against, there's going to be a ton of teams applying for this thing who are going to stay in Brooklyn and will say so in their application, who have somebody on their team who can code. Like, even if it's a junior developer, right? Do you have somebody on your team who can code? So please, 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 like, be creative. Like, go to your local colleges. There's a bunch of really talented computer science engineer students. Like, and part of being an effective CEO and founder, right, is you have to inspire people to join you. You have to figure it out. So go do that if you want to have a chance to get to these 500 stacks, like, period, full stop. I know you ain't going to say that because you're very politically correct in that regard, and I appreciate
No,
that. But
look,
honestly,
I tell the truth. If I had to start over, I would have definitely spent more time networking with technical, potential co-founders, and found someone to build this platform with. So that way, with the little bit of money I do have, we can use it
that's right.
to, fund the things within the company, and have the runway to go to market. So, I agree everything what you're saying, and think that
Right.
people should invest finding a
Yeah.
co-founder, and
Yeah.
that's why platforms what like you're building are super important, and I'm happy to see that you're tackling this problem that exists, especially for underrepresented founders, because we're not from a lot of these networks. We don't have best friends that live down the street that just happen to be a coder, and oftentimes it's harder for us to find these technical co-founders, and then have the proper incentive
Mhm.
to make sure that they stick for the long term. So I love what you're doing.
100%. I appreciate that. And I will tell you that we are going to be matching people without regard for what you look like, where you went to school, or where you worked. Like, we're just like y'all. We're looking to kill the pattern match nonsense of it all. Like, we're not here for it. So stay tuned for that. All right. So we have some questions I want to get to. People were asking about industry, and when I looked at the website, you can go to bk-excel.com to learn more. You do seem like you'll have a preference for specific industries. Can you talk about that really quickly, and then we'll get to some of these questions?
Yeah, so the program itself is industry agnostic, so anyone can apply. But because our partners and their extensive networks and experience and connections in certain areas, we definitely have a preference or a slight advantage to those that are building within those areas, because being able to leverage their unique connections, and opportunity to work with their extended networks will add value to the cohort, and the people that are accepted. So the 4 areas or even 5 areas that we have a slight preference for, is e-commerce, entertainment media, sports tech, fintech, and Web3. But like I said, completely industry agnostic. Anyone that's building a tech enabled or a tech company, or something that can be scalable and potentially have a meaningful exit, should apply, and we will look at the application and evaluate it.
Awesome. I'm surprised to hear you say Web3 in the current environment, but I digress. So here's another question for you. Are they paying for housing while in New York? If so, how much is the allowance? Ha!
No, that's a really good question, and
It
I
is a
think
good
that
question.
it's definitely a fair question. So with the initial 125K investment, we will not be paying for housing, and the investment will be upfront before you even come to New York. So you will be able to pay out of the initial investment if you need to use that as a resource. But no, we will not be providing housing per se for this accelerator.
Yeah, and I figured that you wouldn't be, but it's expensive in Brooklyn. Look, that's why it's all the reason to stick around and get the other 375. That's right. Am I wrong?
No, that's 100%. We want to make sure you have the capital you need to operate and build your companies and live your lives.
All right, so here's Joe. He's a technical founder. All right, Joe, who with access to a third-party team that supports development, does he need another founder? That's a great question. I already know what you're going to say.
So not necessarily. Like I said, the key component is just being able to provide the team or have a team that can actually execute on all the areas of building a company, from designing, building, and iterating on your product, going to market, talking to customers, selling it, and providing true value to the people that you're serving with your business. If you can execute on that and have the vision and clearly articulate, what impact that you're having with your business, I don't think it's necessary. Of course, if are more technical and you need someone that's on the business side or sales side, it's always helpful to have that full stack team per se, but it's not a requirement.
Yeah, so I love this question, man. So I just finished Techstars and went in with a team, and so my CTO Caleb Martinez is on this call. But for us, when we touched down in Austin, we had a prototype that Caleb built, but we basically set that thing to the side, and we spent almost the entire time talking to customers. So I think it'd be interesting to get your perspective on this, Daryl. So, Joe, if you have something, presumably you have something that's already built because build is going to build. That's what y'all do, right? And I don't even know if your product is in market, is it pre-revenue or not. But if you're gonna need to spend time talking to customers, I assume you guys have a focus on that, right, Daryl?
Yeah, you're definitely going to need to talk to customers. Honestly, I put out a tweet, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, where I believe that as an early stage founder, your primary role is to be the CFO. And we're not talking about chief financial officer. We're talking about the
Oh,
chief feedback officer. You need
ah,
to be able to talk to your customers and receive feedback on their pain points, as well as feedback on your product so you can make the proper iterations. And
yeah.
that is the number one role of a CEO, to be the chief feedback officer.
Yes, I love that. So if you're comfortable doing that, Joe, I would say you're probably going to be good, especially if you can blow them away with what you already built and your traction. But to the extent that you could get somebody on board because again, if you're going to be the CEO, you have to inspire people to join your team. Because if you cannot do that, you cannot build a company. Like period, full stop. So I would definitely encourage you to find somebody to join your team. I'm already taken, bro, so I can't help you. I got Kabila popping already. Sorry, but great question. Another great question here from Jackie Johnson. Will you look at startups who have been through a Techstars or 500 accelerator? Ooh, good question.
Yeah, no, we'll be glad to work with founders that have been through other accelerator programs. The key is honestly, are you interested in us? We put out an application, and if you express your interest by applying, we're going to evaluate every founder that applies, and then decide on which 12 founders we're going to select. So it's more so about thanking you for being interested in us.
Yeah, I love that. So what's your Twitter handle if people want to follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter is at Daryl Frater. It's just my name.
Darrel
Yeah,
Freighter.
and I don't know about you, but I got extra time, man.
You got what?
I got extra time if you want to keep on talking or answer
Oh,
my
look.
question.
Okay, let's go, baby. So if you listen, we had his hard stop in a minute, but if you have more questions, let's keep the questions coming. And we'll go for another 5 minutes. If you don't have questions, I'm gonna let this man get back to his business. So somebody said, Kabila, help me, Wanda, with the tech co-founder. Look, I already told you at the top, go to joinkabila.com, click on our landing page for the app and join our waitlist. That's coming soon. We also have a dope community where we typically do these events inside of our community, but because I just thought this was so important, I wanted to cast as wide a net as possible so they could get as broad an audience and eyes and ears on what they're doing. I did this on LinkedIn Live. That's not normally what I do. We have our events exclusively in our community. Joinkabila.com. You can join our community. It's $19.79 a month because freedom ain't free. You know what I'm saying? And folks value what they pay for. So we're doing some dope stuff over there in the community. So tap in there. All right. So another question here.
And James, can I jump in and say something as well?
Yeah, of course.
So in addition to the BKXL Accelerator program, we're also launching a fellowship program in New York called VHNYC. This program is a little bit different. It's a fellowship program where we're giving 10K grants to 20 founders in any of the five boroughs in New York. Applications for that program are already up, and we're already evaluating founders for that program. And after that program, you're able to apply to Visible Hands to receive additional funding. So you get the 10K non-dilutive, and then you have the opportunity to pitch Visible Hands for up to 200K in investment.
So this dude is just like, it's Christmas time. He's Black Santa Claus. He got his bag with all the gifts. He coming down the chimney with $500,000 for the BKXL accelerator, 10 stacks for the fellowship program. What's the link to that? Like, where do they go for that?
Yeah, so to learn more about the VHNYC program, you can go to visiblehands.vc/VHNYC.
Yeah, I mean, that's nuts. And then you said if you go through Visible Hands, which is what you all got started with when I talked to Yasmin a year or so ago, that's the opportunity for another $200,000.
Yeah, so with Visible Hands, our core accelerator is called the Visionaries Accelerator. We do that program every fall. We invest in about 45 founders, so it's a larger cohort, and we invest up to 200K in that program.
I mean, are y'all looking to adopt any children? Like, I could use a parent. I'm saying, it's amazing. That's amazing, everybody.
Yeah, applications for the Visionaries Accelerator typically go out around April.
Okay, so here's another question. So for the first part, it's full time in Brooklyn. Yes, it is. For the 10 weeks, what should founders with kids do? Oh boy, that's a great question.
Yeah, so we try to make the program fairly flexible and manageable, but it is a full time commitment. We're gonna be able to really adjust and customize our program to support our founders in their situations in regards to taking care of kids and stuff like that. But we definitely I just encourage just make preparations and use the capital that is provided to take care of everything that you need. So it's also like as founders, you have to understand that your life is not just being a founder. You
Yeah,
have a personal life that is real. So whatever it takes to make sure you satisfy those real needs that you have in your personal, it's okay to use capital or support from family or whatever you need to get things done. But
yeah.
it is a full time commitment, but we understand the real needs of people.
So this is a great question and one that resonates with me personally because, as I mentioned, I was going back and forth to Austin, Texas for 12 weeks in Techstars, but I flew out on Mondays and I flew back Thursday night so I could spend time with my kids. I'm a single dad of twins, so I figured out how to make that work. So is there any flexibility in that regard? Do you have to be there 5 days a week in Brooklyn? Like how many days a week? Like some program like is virtual, in person? Like what's the mix there?
Yeah, so this program will be full time in person, but in terms of our current plan for the actual day to day, we're looking at primarily 2 days of co working and working independently with the other cohort members, Mondays and Fridays. And then in the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the middle of the week, more structured programming, meetings, and working with our partners and stakeholders within the program. So we're trying to make it very flexible and manageable, but at the same time, we want to make sure you have the full experience of this accelerator.
So what I heard you say, I think, even though you didn't say it, is kind of what I just did. So you might be open to somebody who could fly into Brooklyn on Monday night, tap in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bounce out Thursday, work remotely on Friday. Would that be possible or not?
We haven't ironed out the specific details of the program, but that's something that might be possible.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say yes or no, but
No, I get it.
as we flesh out the program more, we'll have more of the solid schedule. By the time it's
Yeah.
time for interviews for the application process, we'll kind of know, and we'll be very transparent throughout the interview process
Yeah.
of the commitment, and that might be a criteria that determines if you get in or not.
No, I love that answer. And I think that's totally fair. And I will tell you based on my experience, because when I went to Austin, that was an in-person full-time program. But they loved me and loved us so much, they were willing to be a little flexible, right? So just go, make it so, put forward a great application, have a great interview, follow Daryl on Twitter, Daryl Frater. It's at Daryl Frater, Darre. Let me get this thing off the screen so I can show your name so people know how to find you. I mean, I tell you, I'm ham and egging it, man. I'm doing all the damn things over here. Daryl Frater, right, on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. Go to the website. Hang on, what's my banners here? I apologize. I'm doing all the things I told you. Yes, there. Go there. Right. And so the last question, well, actually, two more questions before we hop. How do you put forward a good application? Do y'all have office hours or something set up where people can ask specific questions about their application?
Yeah, so in regards to office hours, all the investors on our team are actively speaking to founders just to be as supportive and helpful as possible. So you can pretty much reach out to anyone on the team, and they'll be happy to set up time to speak with you. You can reach out to me, LinkedIn, Twitter, email. I always try to make myself available to founders. And kind of lastly, just really just be a thoughtful visionary in regards to just understanding what problem you're solving for what specific user type and how you believe that your business is solving problems in the world in a meaningful way, and just having that kind of clarity as to the impact that you want to have and how like, you're going to create a business that actually delivers that value.
100%. I mean, it's going to be super competitive. Going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people applying. So make sure you got your crap together. And the way to do that is to build relationships. Look, it's like I said at the top, investors invest in lines, not dots. So coming to this, listening to this, asking questions, following up with him on LinkedIn, engaging on Twitter, going to office hours, sending him an email, putting in the subject, hey, saw you at the LinkedIn Live with James from Kabila. Because he gets 100 emails a day, a minute or whatever, right? So if you give him a subject line like that, he's like, okay, now he's starting to connect these dots, right? Making lines that increases your chances. Here's a question: when do deadlines close? The applications close.
Applications will close on January 20th.
All right. So one question here. I think this is the last question. If you have pre-revenue, but have done a couple of non-funded accelerators and produced a great MVP, what else would make your traction stand out? Great question.
Yeah, so because we invest very early, traction is not even like the top priority in my opinion. I actually look for validation. I look for validation that you know your customer pain points and that you're validating that your solution is actually delivering value to those customers. Traction is a great point of validation, but it's not the only. So sometimes you'll see people like, oh, I have a 10,000 person wait list, and for me, that's not validation. That's indication of potential value, but it's not actual
Oh,
validation
bro,
of
I
your.
feel attacked. I mean, I
Oh,
feel like
I
you're
don't.
attacking my co-founder matching waiting list, man. You're
No,
attacking me,
not
bro.
not at all. Genuinely, a wait list is great, but just having real strong validation of the customer pain point and your ability to deliver value is what I'm looking for.
And so how do I prove that this validation around the pain? Is that through talking to customers? Like, how do I do that?
Yeah, through so talking to customers, really having great customer discovery interviews, testimonials, having a beta where you have beta testers and you're receiving feedback on the beta, showcasing a demo and really understanding the value your product is delivering. Those are things that are much more important than just vanity metrics and traction metrics that you think are going to be impressive to VCs.
So what tools do you recommend to do that? So for me, like before I went into Techstars, I use ideavalidator.io, which is actually owned by Saba Kareem, who's head of global pipeline at Techstars. And I used that product. And as a result of that, I knew that 70% of the founders I talked to who wanted a co-founder were having a hard time finding a co-founder. So that's how I validated that. I mean, I knew from personal experience, lived experience, and just common sense. Everybody knows it's hard finding a co-founder, but I validated it that way as long with some other things. So what tools do you recommend for people to do customer discovery and get customer validation?
Yeah, the tool you mentioned sounds great. I haven't used it yet, but I think I'm going to check it out because I think that's a valuable tool that founders might be able to leverage. But just simply Zoom calls, taking notes, and just
Yeah.
really working hard to speak to customers and asking really great questions and getting deep insights. Like I believe the founders that are mission driven and customer focused and customer obsessed are the ones that really are going to work hard towards serving that customer and really build something that's going to solve problems that help them out in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, 100%. So I use ideavalidator.io before I got into Techstars, but once we got into Techstars and we talked to dozens and dozens and dozens and surveyed dozens and dozens and dozens of customers, I used a tool called Video Ask. So videoask.com, which is actually a Typeform company, right? So that's a video ask is a video comes up, hey, me asking a question, they click a button, and they have the option to respond with either video, audio, or typing. And our experience, give people the option for all three. Don't try to force people to do what you want, because when we turned the typing thing back on, most people just wanted to type their answers, which was shocking to me. Shocking. So make it easy for people. And then what we did, which was really, well, first of all, I gave people a $5 Starbucks gift card to give me feedback, right? So give people something for their time and attention. That worked brilliantly. And then we asked a series of questions, like this logic strings in Video Ask, just like Typeform. And we asked if they were game to spend 20 more minutes with us, and we'll give you another $5 gift card. And then I integrated Calendly and let them right inside the Video Ask schedule time on my calendar for a follow-up conversation that I was able to record and just compile all this incredibly rich feedback. So that's what we did. That's a little tip for y'all. And that's the last question, I think. Hang on one second. I got to go back to my notes. I feel like everybody's questions are
And
so
James, I,
great.
I want to say that's awesome, man. I'm really impressed by your ability to just get in the faces of your customers and learn from them and record it. Cause like I listen to like some founders, like I would ask them like, let me hear one of the recordings. And then like I can hear from the customer, and then also I can also hear from your ability to ask the right questions and see like, do you really understand your customer? And
Yeah.
that is so much more valuable to me than
Yes.
a long wait list. So
Yes.
I
100%.
really focus on the customer and their pain point and your ability to have empathy for that.
Yeah. So you're impressed with that. So basically what you're saying, I should apply to the accelerator. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, brother.
Nah, oh, knock it off. I can't live in Brooklyn for 12 months and 2 years. I can't. I got to be here in Atlanta. So with respect to asking good questions, the Mom Tests is a really great book to teach you how to ask the right questions for your customer discovery. Because if you ask trash questions, you're going to get trash results. So you got to understand how to ask questions. All right, that's it, man. We over here dropping all the gems. You want some more gems? Join my Kabila community, because freedom ain't free. Join Kabila.com. Daryl, my man, I appreciate you so much, brother. You didn't know me from a can of paint, and I just pinged you, and you were like, "Let's do it." So I appreciate that, and hopefully this will help spread the word. I will be sharing these things all over the place in my communities, in my Parentpreneur Foundation community. We got 2,000 Black parentpreneurs in there, and I'll tag you. So please feel free to reshare this content. Tell Yasmin I said hello, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all are doing God's work, man. I appreciate you so much. So I'm going to
Hey,
end this broadcast now. Just hang on for 2 seconds. All right, brother.
thank you
Thanks
for having
everybody
me.
for being on the call. See y'all later. Cheers.